Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Boiler Up Beer Down podcast. I'm Riles23, alongside, as always, Habitual Boiler. And tonight, on this edition, we have a couple very special guests for you. But first, we'd like to introduce our new podcast co-hosts. We have been looking for a couple people. These two you'll find to be very passionate Purdue fans. And right now, we want to introduce our new co-hosts, Carrie and Audra.
What's up, girls?
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome on the show.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And as an introduction to everyone watching and listening, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're interested in doing this, what your connection is to Purdue, and what you hope to bring to the podcast.
Who are we starting with? Audra?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Audra. I live in Danville, Indiana. Grew up down here, and my granddad went to Purdue, and my parents have always been huge Purdue fans. They've owned or had season tickets to football for a really long time. My brother and I both went to Purdue back in he was 2007. I was 2008 when we started there, and we've just continued to go to football games and basketball games ever since then. And I have always loved Purdue. Some of my best memories ever are going and tailgating for Purdue games with my parents, their friends, and getting to watch our Boilers every weekend there in the fall. So been passionate about it ever since. And I love basketball. I've always loved basketball. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Gary, same question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, why you're a Purdue fan, what's some of your best Purdue memory?
My name is Carrie. Obviously, I'm from Bargersville, Indiana. I became a Purdue fan my whole life. My dad has always been a very passionate Purdue fan. My older brother went to Purdue. I went to Purdue. A bunch of cousins, family, all gone to Purdue. So just something kind of grew up in the Purdue system and loved going to games with my dad as a kid and really enjoyed that. My favorite memories for Purdue, my freshman year was 2009. So we beat OSU in football and got to rush the field. So that was just a really exciting experience to get to do that. And that's obviously the time when basketball was big, and E'Twaun Moore and Chris Kramer, Robbie, everybody. So those were all really exciting times to play and camp out for games and all of that good stuff.
So we welcome aboard. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Obviously, this is an amateur program, and it's for the fan, by the fan. We just want to have fun, and we get to talk to some interesting people from time to time and interact with a lot of people in Boiler Nation. So it's a pretty fun thing to do. We've got a few minutes before our special guest joins us tonight, and I hate to do this on a recording because as soon as we release this thing, there's probably going to be massive changes and lots more news break. But we are recording this on December 6th, Tuesday night, and we're in the midst of Brom Watch. I guess we probably know a little bit more than yesterday. We held a space last night, talked about it live with a little bit, but we don't know a whole lot more. What we know is Jeff Brom is out wearing Purdue gear with Coach Haight, visiting recruits in, I think, the Carmel area, telling recruits supposedly that he will be the Purdue coach going forward. However, I think there's been several reports, nothing confirmed, that at the very least Louisville has made an offer, and a relatively strong offer, probably subject to the Board of Trustees approving it, but I don't know how the AD would be making an offer without with some head nods in the first place. And there's a lot of speculation that Brom is probably going to take that. Again, all rumors, nothing confirmed. Maybe by the time this rolls out later tonight or in the morning, everything will be confirmed or denied. But we do know that Brom has not come out and shut anything down, which means at the very least he's listening. What's everybody's take on it as we stand right now?
My take is that if I was to put money on it, I would guess by Friday, Jeff Brom will be announced as the next head coach of Louisville, which at this point, you can say, thanks, Jeff. You brought Purdue football back from the crater of whatever Daryl Hazel left. The program's a lot better condition than you found it. But at this point, it would be nice to have a resolution, just because we can't keep doing the same song and dance every 2 to 3 years when Louisville's having issues in football about whether or not Jeff Brom is going to go back to Louisville. At this point, if he goes, it would be nice to at least have the clarity to know that, okay, we can go get someone to lead the program that's not going to be in the rumor mill every time a certain team loses a game they shouldn't. It's been honestly kind of exhausting because, as you said, Jeff Brom hasn't shut anything down. He's never shut anything down the entire process. When he stayed in 2018, it, for all intents and purposes, and for a lot of the tea leaves, said he was 95% gone until he stayed. And that just kind of, especially now with the advent of the NIL and the transfer portal and players coming and going seemingly on a daily basis, you need to have a little bit of clarity and you need to have a little bit of stability in your program. And I think if he was to go, I think right now is kind of a really good time. Like, Purdue football next year kind of looks like it might be a little bit of a rebuilding year. So if there was a time for him to go, right now is probably the best time.
Audra, do you agree with that sentiment?
Yes and no. I mean, I do, because it's kind of the right time, if you want to call it that, to make a break. But I don't like, I guess, that he's out there wearing Purdue and telling recruits whatever he's telling. Because, I mean, that picture of the recruit tonight, he's literally saying boiler up with a train with these guys in the picture. And, when I'm sending this picture out to my fam, I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't know why he would do this if he had any intent in going anywhere.
Yeah, that's as a diehard Purdue fan, that is hard to sit there and witness when you know that he's not shut down on anything. He is telling recruits one thing, and I would say, I mean, Carrie and I were talking about this before we even started the show. Yesterday I think I said I was a 75% lean that he was going to be going to Louisville. Today I'd have to bump that to at least 85%. And Carrie, right? I mean, you said the same thing. It's hard to watch. You just hope this doesn't go on for days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how staff or players here or at Louisville can have confidence in him if it drags on for too long, because everybody's waiting, everybody's trying to decide. And if he is telling recruits what rumor has it is that he's telling them, it's just kind of gross. You know what I mean? Like, assuming he does leave, it's just kind of,
It is, but you gotta. This is the world of college football, and there's a lot grosser things that go on. So I guess if this is the worst thing that comes from it, and it only lasts for a day or two or three, then we're, we could be in worse shape. I don't.
At this stage, he's the coach of Purdue until he says he isn't. So you have to kind of keep up the facade that, yeah, I'm going to be at Purdue next year. And it's kind of one of those, like at the press conference where he was asked, like, have you heard anything about Louisville? And he said, I found out about it on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, that's what we said a little before the show started. It's like, well, when you have a job and you put your 2 weeks notice in, you don't just stop doing your job. Right.
Yeah. I think I look at it too, though, as mom. And I think, it's their lives too. He's telling them one thing and they're making a huge commitment to a school. So as a parent, I kind of look at it through that lens a little too and think, it's not just him that his choice impacts. So if he's, not being fully truthful, that just, those guys are counting on him to come in and be straightforward.
Yeah, I agree. I know. And I, if we're in that position, it's hard to tell what we would be doing too. I guess you could cancel it. The one thing, and I think I saw somebody say this on Twitter was, if he does make all these promises to recruits in the Indy area, I think PJ Fleck burned a bridge down there several years ago that he still has a hard time recruiting Indy because he did the same thing. So that might mean, as a Louisville head coach, he may have a hard time recruiting Indy area kids. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see. I don't know that there's anything left that we can say about that tonight. And again, by the time people watch this, something could have, and very likely has majorly changed. So with that, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll be back with our very special guest.